Game number 1 of this best of 3 between Gaimin Gladiators and Tundra. This is going to be a sick series, Cinderman. And welcome home, by the way. Are you jet lagged on your long trip?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? These drafts today has had a lot of really good individual games, but who knows? Maybe we've saved the absolute best for last. Tundra versus Gaimin Gladiators. The heroes that both teams are running here are... This has been a crazy mind game in and of itself, so I really hope everybody out there is ready for one hell of a game. København er klar!
What does that mean? Can you translate?
Do you hate Suns fans?
Well, I can't blame them. As we get into this game, you're talking about this lineup, Cinder. This is a disgusting zoo lineup, if you want to call it that, from Gaimin.
Yeah.
What can Tundra do to try to contest it?
Well, first of all, obviously, as the panel talked about, it's a lot of the time when you're playing against Zoo like this, it's either having heroes that have a lot of AoE damage that hit multiple targets, and especially something like Echo Slam that they talk to death with, amplifying itself. Either you have that, or you need some big boys that stand in front of the tower and make it difficult to take. So in this case, Topson's going to play the Alchemist. I was thinking to myself, maybe something like a Timbersaw could have been a possibility. That archetype of hero where effectively you're trying to just stall, buy time, and get to your items on, in this case, the Luna.
All right, so only time will tell if Gaimin can play their fast style. We get to ponder this. What the horse happens here, Cinderella?
Oh.
The pause in the laning stage. Who gets the last hit?
I have never played this game with 3 lanes at once.
That's true. This is hardcore.
This is an extra challenge. I think Quinn will get his melee creep. You see the tower shot is about to hit that one, and he's mid-animation, so I'm pretty sure he's got that one on lock. All right, that makes it a lot harder. I don't think anyone can really... Oh,
this is the deadlock perspective here. You got to kill the souls that pop up after you last hit, of course.
All right, your $50 has been deposited in your Steam account.
Thank you, Gaimin. Appreciate that. I'm really cheap, apparently. But yeah, this is going to be an epic series because I don't know if you disagree with this. I don't even know if this is contested of a statement, but I think Pure has been playing the best carry of the entire tournament. Would you agree with that?
I think he played at least the best individual carry game on his Luna. I think the game they had against Falcons was insane. So many split-second crazy decisions, extremely mechanically gifted player, and as we saw in the pregame, he's only 20. So, this guy has
feels like he's been around a long time, too.
Right. So I think he probably made his splash in the scene when he was like 16 or 17, right? And he's been growing and improving as a player. This was a player that used to, I want to say 2 years ago, have games where he just crumbled, like made key mistakes. The higher the stakes were, the less you could count on him. And I feel like he's just completely overcome that.
Well, I think really part of that is because he's not on B-Blob squad anymore, right? That's probably a big part of it, in fact. Since he's changed to this team, it has been smooth sailing for the most part. Of course, they're not playing with their regular position 4. We've talked about this many a time, but 9 class not able to make the tournament. But Sox, could you think of a better replacement for a position 4? This is a guy that used to be on the old Digital Chaos team that I was a part of, Cinder. And I remember when we were trying him out, both Bulba and I were like, this is the best position 4 I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing with this meta is because these heroes scale so well and they go into the late game. Remember when we're going to see a big concoction here on the Quinn, but he will live. The fact that these Marana-type heroes, these position 4s that scale, when he was ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the world on the leaderboards, he played carry, not support in those situations. So that's another guy to look out for.
Yeah, it's cool how when you're good at Dota, you're just good at Dota, Like, there are some players that choose to truly specialize and only play more or less one role their entire career, and in terms of pro play, Saksa is that guy as well. Yeah. But he just has a very wide repertoire, and I think there's something good to be said about trying other roles out, whatever level you play on. Whether you're a pro player or you're a 4K player, like, diversifying your pool gives you a different and deeper understanding of the game. And I think that's part of his X factor. Nice arrow. Blood grenade.
Yes, I believe that will be first blood going the way of Tofu. So Gaimin Gladiators first on the board. Beautiful arrow.
Damn. Just, maybe we shouldn't talk about players. It's just setting them up for failure here.
Yep, true.
But guess what? Pure can recover from this because he is playing an excellent tournament. So this is not going to shake him at all because that is not a problem he has anymore. So, okay, let's look a little bit at some other lanes here. I think this top lane, it's dangerous, to be fair. The Brood can very easily snowball, and I think the problem for Tundra really kicks in when Ace hits level 6. Then I just don't really see this ET Luna staying at all, and you probably need to move your pieces around a little bit for Tundra, but until that point, you have some pressure plays of your own. I think especially the Alchemist, knowing that it's Topson and how he likes to do surprising stuff, I think that's actually going to be the hero to watch even at the 6-minute mark. Could easily see him TPing to a side lane and trying to get something done with a higher level of concoction. Bottom lane for Tundra, I think this is the worst news of the series. As Fear pointed out, the Lone Druid match is really rough for Mars, but guess what? Ramses is actually doing quite well for himself so far.
Yep, not too shabby at all. And yeah, he's been very solid as an offlaner. Of course, played most of his career as a position 1, so it's been an adjustment over the last few years for him. But this mid lane, one lane we haven't really talked too much about, is the Storm Spirit for Quinn versus Topson's Alchemist. And so far, Topson is doing quite well.
Yeah, I think nowadays a lot of melee heroes that used to maybe struggle a little bit more against Storm do better. I would say Alchemist always would do okay in this matchup. You throw down the Acid Spray and you get some CS. And if Storm wants to come in for CS, especially in the past, you had to walk into the Acid Spray. Nowadays you can kind of go around it with the static slide, but yeah, Alex should be fine here. And of course he has the benefit of starting with additional gold, with the seed money facet. How did the first bounties go? That was a 3-for-1 split for Tundra as well, so even more went in their favor before the lanes actually began.
Well, I want to talk a bit about the Bear. Obviously that was a big discussion for the panel. Dyrachyo not known as the lone druid player. Ace is typically that.
Yeah.
A little bit of a fake up. So you get the Brood in the off lane now, and Dyrachyo for the lone druid. This facets in there, where you only get 3 slots, which just clicking on the hero just looks weird, first and foremost. But secondly, have you seen this in play yet?
I've not seen it in a pro game. I've seen it in pub games, and I think what people usually go for is something like what Dyrachyo is doing here. You just get some really cost-efficient, smaller items. He's going to start out with the Bracer here. I would imagine the second circlet turns into a Wraith Band. Let's see. He's actually not going to complete that one for now. He's working on treads, by the looks of it. But yeah, I think it's really strong, and more so than anything, I think it's really strong for the way Gaimin Gladiators play the game, right? They are a team that a lot of the time, we've talked about this in a lot of their series, that you hit that 20-minute mark and it's like they flick a switch and then they just decide, okay, now we want to win. Now we feel like ending this game. And you have a facet like this that just empowers your hero with fewer items. Talk about a match made in heaven for this team, right? Like that is when they want to peak anyway. So you're just making them stronger at the timing that they had with the previous asset.
Yeah, that's true. I never really thought of it that way. That's definitely true. I'm confused why we haven't really seen it for Dyrachyo, why they're bringing it out now.
A lot. There's been a lot of teams that have first phase banned Lone Druid against them, and sometimes it's made it through to the second phase and then been banned. And Gaimin didn't first pick it this series either, right? It was a second phase pick.
Yeah,
it did rate Mirana over everything, which I think is very understandable. I think Solar Flare has been the spell of the tournament.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is incredibly good, and they've built a lineup here where they have 3 cores that all benefit a ton from this physical damage that Mirana's going to give them. A lot of the time when we see lineups with Mirana, like maybe 2 cores use it, but here it's all 3. I wonder if it works on the Bear.
Oh boy. I guess we'll find out a little bit later.
Because the Bear is a little bit of a pseudo-hero with certain abilities. I mean, I'll try to keep an eye out for it.
It can pick up runes, you know, so why not?
If it works on the Bear, that is actually just dirty.
Yeah, well, that's your job to click and find out, right?
I'll keep an eye on it.
I'm sure you're forgetting about 30 seconds.
You know
getting
me
pressure
so
hit
well.
by Topson, but he did get that regen rune, so he's going to be super happy about that. That is the first power rune of the game. See how he actually uses it to potentially... I mean, how much maneuverability do they have to try to get some kills early on?
Well, both teams do have rotation power, right? The Storm is obviously the easier one to execute because you have so much reach, and with the regen rune, as you mentioned, that should be absolutely no problem. I think they're even, they're going to bring him in here. Tofu's going to connect and pop that smoke, and the regen's off. So, first move of the game from that mid lane should be coming the way from Gaimin Gladiators toward that top lane, and Tundra, they might have the read here with Topson in his tower.
Yep, they zip on in. Whitemon looks super dead. Tofu's going to join the party. Starstorm is there as well. Pure on the run. That regen's still going for Quinn. The Lucid Beam connects, but just too many heroes as Gaimin Gladiators with a 3-0 start to this game.
And now comes the big question. What do you do now that Brood is 6 and your Luna is level 4? Because she's not coming back to this lane. I'm telling you that much. She doesn't stand a chance here. So Is she going to start playing the top jungle? So Gaimin Gladiators know that's going to happen. So they're going to start warding here. They're going to start playing more offensively up here. They're maybe even going to start dewarding there under the assumption that Tundra will be needing that area to give Pure the recovery. Who's going to cover? Are they going to bring the Ench up there? Is the Alp going to have to sacrifice tons of farm to cover up the Luna? It's definitely off to a pretty rough start here from the side of Tundra. Close
the fact that the Wisdom Rune is still up for Gaimin, by the way, it just shows how busy they are doing other things.
Yeah, unimportant.
All right, concoction from Topson. He's going to show himself. Obviously, if he can kill those spiders, that is going to be a lot of money for him. So Ace does have to be a bit careful for that.
It's quite difficult, though. Can't target the spiders themselves, so he either needs to run into them and explode, or he needs to throw them on a hero that's next to the spiders, and Ace has tons of experience on this hero, so unlikely.
Eventually, Tofu takes the Wisdom. Okay, so if I don't know if you want to say that they're on a time limit here, but Gaimin obviously are going to ramp up really fast, right? So
it's going to go fast.
For Topson's build, what would you like to see? Because we've been seeing the Radiance as the typical go-to.
Yeah, we also haven't seen Alk mid. Right? I think this is the first game of the tournament, correct me if I'm wrong. At least I don't recall seeing a game that this was running. It's mainly been the carries. I think Radiance is too slow, but the question, like the old mid Alchemist build that some players would go for would be Solar Crest. Are you actually queuing up the Radiance now? It's high risk, high reward. I can't say I love it because I'm a little bit concerned.
First arena of the game will be reserved for Celery, and that's the first kill from Tundra. I mean, they're only down 1,000 at this point, so has not snowballed in Gaimin's direction quite yet. But good to get on the board nonetheless.
Is of course worth keeping in mind when looking at the gold that there is an Alchemist on the dire side.
Yes.
They have 3 bounty runes, and he's mid, and therefore he generally will have more CS than the safe lane Alp.
Yeah.
So this is actually, I would say, already a quite meaningful advantage for the side of Gaimin Gladiators.
Oh, Whitemon.
And Whitemon.
Initiated on by Quinn. That is another kill to Gaimin's side. And Topson can only just run away.
So what I was thinking was, in the past, what Alchemists would buy in mid would be the old Solar Crest, right?
Yeah.
Where you just amplify your concoction of the target, do a ton of damage with that, and acid spray, and kind of snowball fights off of that, and a lower cooldown on the concoction. Not really an option you have anymore. The Radiance, most of the time, will probably be the best choice. I just think this game, particularly, the pace might just be so high that he gets this Radiance, and then they're pushing high ground. Like, that is a possibility here.
Yeah.
Already now taking over that mid tier 1 and the top tier 1, so 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in.
Nice voice line. Go buy it in your Dota 2 store right now. Yeah.
It's nice when your players and co-casters advertise for your thing.
He really needs it, guys. He needs this win, all right? So, at what point is Gaimin going to be ready to just 5-man, is the question I have.
I guess 1 to 2 auras is when they just look to push the high ground. So Chen will be getting the drums here. Those are not far off, so that will be the first one. I think Brood Greaves, we're looking at 3 minutes. Lone Druid is going for a Maelstrom first. I think pretty standard. I want to say drums, mech, plus 1 additional aura item and an Aegis, and they could even think about it. So 5 to 10 minutes is a real possibility.
By the way, I just thought of something which is very unique for me.
Yeah, that's a first.
So these necrotic webs from Ace, they reduce regen by 30%. Chemical Rage is regen. So if he's in, oh boy, Pure, about to get completely surrounded. 2 tomatoes, a porcupine, and then some Gaimin Gladiators heroes as well. The 3rd death for him in this game. Boy, we really cursed him. Good lord. Soxa trying to pressure the tier 1 tower. In the meantime, Quint will casually right-click him down. Soxa does not have his ult yet, so feels like, oh, he's actually regenerating quite a bit as Quinn running out of mana, but eventually does get the kill.
I will say, so you say we're cursing Pure, but I think, if anything, this goes to show when one of the best carries, if not the of the tournament, in terms of performance individually so far, is this much in trouble. It goes to show that Gaimin's prep and their strategy is really strong.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because Pure has not had this much trouble in any game this tournament that I can remember, just getting absolutely run over, and his plan B is getting countered too. So now it's time for plan C. We'll see how long he gets to play this one before they take away the next area of the map. Ramses will be acting as wall here, but he can't cover it alone, so they're going to need to bring in the Enchantress as well. Arrow, gonna come from Whitemon, no dive available. But Gaimin Gladiators own 60% of the map. We're 10 minutes in.
Yep.
It is a major concern for Tundra, and they need to They need to very quickly get to something meaningful, and it's not going to come from Pure. So the guy you're looking at right now is Thompson getting his first big eye out. That's not the way to do it. I think denying yourself with a concoction at the Ancients is not a get-rich-fast scheme.
Maybe he knows something we don't, Cinderin.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. That's going to slow him down a bit.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, that stack will give him Radiance, though, if he can eventually finish it. But while he's thinking about that, the Tier 2 tower top is gone.
Would you believe it? They've made us patch to this game, so now there's 2 tormentors. He found the second one. Saksa. He is dead.
Very dead. Does have his ult now, but still, just too much damage. And bottom lane, Dyrachyo. He is surrounded. There's the arena. The Eclipse coming out. His Thompson wins. Dyrachyo somehow kills Ramses before, and now Pure will get the trade. So not as clean as you would like if you're Tundra. You do take out Dyrachyo at the very least.
He traded in a 1v4 and forced like 2 or 3 TPs to that tower. It doesn't get much better than that. Okay, he had Hand of God, so let's call it a 1.2 against 4. That was the fact that he gets that outcome. I think he's pretty happy with it. Sure, yeah, he's a nice kill for Tundra and all, but again, now you've effectively, what this play did is it forced all of Tundra down in this area now. And for Gaimin Gladiators, this gives you the option of, we talked about constricting the map. Are you going to try to flush them out of this area now? And if so, where are they going to go? You have Vision top. You know the Storm is inhabiting that area. He just lives up here now. It's his new home.
Well, showing off the Radiance is Thompson, so do have to be a lot more careful with those little spiders. I assume, he's going to have to go like a Blink BKB or something to that effect as Ramses will find Quinn, or is it the other way around? 9-2 start for Gaimin as, again, you talked about it, 5k lead against a core Alk. As Thompson, he will run into Dyrachyo, gets off the concoction. Yep, Pure's in the area as well, gets off the Lucent Beam. Here comes Tofu, though, trying to block them out, puts down the GG branch. Dyrachyo's stuck in a corner. Big kill for Thompson. Showing some signs of life is Tundra. And Quinn, pretty low on mana, but he does have the rune bottled, as Thompson will be stunning himself again.
Look,
and just casually farming away.
The Ancients, and this time he actually does explode next to the creeps. But didn't actually mean to farm those, so... Yeah, they stem the bleeding a little bit. It's good for them to find another kill onto Dyrachyo here for Tundra. But Gaimin Gladiators still feels like this game is theirs to win. If they can keep the momentum up, if they can get the Roche, keep snowballing, get the last 2 Tier 2 towers, and then it's just a matter of which items are you waiting for. Because I think if they take these next 2 towers and have the Aegis in hand, they effectively get to decide what happens in the game in the next 5 minutes. I think initiative is extremely limited for Tundra's lineup. I think a lot of the ways that their lineup could have found initiative had to happen early, but the lanes were so difficult that that stage of the game is kind of over. Enchantress didn't find much success, the Elder Titan didn't get too much done, and your mid-hero is Alchemist, so he needs to tread this difficult line between finding farm and actually being active. And he's been resorting mainly to the farm aspect on tops. He's barely ahead of Brood.
Yeah.
He's a mid-Alk, and they have about the same GPM going on here, so...
Okay, is this build that Dyrachyo is going for normal? He's going Gleipnir on the ranged Lone Druid, so the bear is not nearly part of this strat, it seems.
I mean, this is such a new thing for me that I don't really have much of a frame of
There was a time when this was a thing, actually, as Pure will be able to TP out just barely.
That was very close.
There was a brief 1-week window in Dota 2 history where ranged Lone Druid was a thing.
What voice line is that? Wait, what? That's a Luna voice line?
I guess.
Hell yeah.
Purchase it now at the Dota 2 store.
I love Luna.
Along with Cinderin's.
Very good.
Well, Pure's gotten a little bit of space, but we can see in terms of the net worth, still bottom of the cores, and on a Luna, that is very bad news. Getting a little bit closer to his eventual Manta style, though, which will help amplify the harm quite a bit, but he needs time, Cinder. I'm not sure if he has it.
And now the pipe comes out for Brood. So mech pipe complete. I'm assuming the Greaves are next to follow. Chen with the drum, soon a Solar Crest. Lone Druid with the Gleipnir as well in 50 gold. Tofu now has the Shard, so he's not going directly into a utility item, but will be able to scale himself as well. A little bit of a, you could call it like a backup plan, and also the fact that because they have so many good aura buyers, it's kind of a luxury game for the Mirana where you can kind of buy whatever you feel like, I think.
Yep.
So we'll see what he puts this gold to use for.
Well, you say that today, it almost bit Snake King in the ass, getting a Satanic on the Mirana instead of some more helpful items.
There might have been a better item in that game. But they won.
It worked, technically, yes.
The champions always get to write history. No one will remember that he bought the wrong item because they won the game.
Yeah.
And everybody would have criticized him if they lost. So that's how it goes. All right, I believe it's time for Big Stone Man to meet half the population of the world of Dota.
Yes,
one go.
That's quite the zoo
this is
they've
quite
got
the
here.
home invasion here. All of them. This is like 50 units on road.
He's spotted, so he will likely just be the trade for Roche here. And the Aegis will be taken by Quinn, as we've talked about many a time, one of the best Aegis carrying heroes in the game. Nothing's changed on that front.
And Aegis, yeah.
Some TPs here, but Pure will be able to get away. And Manta still not quite finished yet. But he's not that far behind Quinn, if you look at the core net worths right now. So things are evening out a bit. In fact, you can see the lead has gone down to 2K. So
yeah,
that's the Alchemist effect.
Would you believe the win expectancy for this game is 50-50?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
So the thing is here, we've talked Gaimin Gladiators up in what position they are in the game, and I still feel like you have the feeling that it's impending, right? That they have this insane push coming. But the thing about a strategy like this is if you trip up once, if they have one failed push, their lineup could extremely quickly run out of steam against the lineup of Tundras.
Oh,
and they find Quinn.
Quinn's really low. The Echo's not quite enough. He zips away just in time.
How cool is Celery to not Hand of God there?
He probably just forgot.
Good luck, Quinn.
I mean, he did have Aegis, so wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but Soxa, he's going to be found and eventually will be brought down as well. In the meantime, we have Doracio's bear. He's like, what does this bear even have on it? It's just branches, for God's sake. But they're going to come with some backup. It's Pure in the backline, be able to take out Doracio in tow. Quinn, he gets the kill. Ace actually gets the kill on Thompson. And the Aegis still remains online for Quinn.
That is still a very nice kill for the side of Tundra. Sure, you lose your Alk, which sucks, but you killed the bear twice. He resummoned and died instantly on that lone druid, and this is going to buy them a little bit of breathing room.
He's barely using the bear, Cinder. It has branches on it.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter.
It doesn't yet. Maybe when he moves the items to the bear, it will matter.
So you're saying he should have gone stats. That's the old lone druid pup build from Dota 1 when people did not want to micro. Not because it was actually good, but because people were lazy and didn't know what to do. I don't know if I would agree with that here. Currently.
So for those that don't know, we talked briefly about it. The 3-slot lone druid, essentially you're getting 80% bonus stats for any of the items in those 3 slots. So for Gleipnir, if he keeps it on the hero, it's more damage, more attack speed, more int, more HP. Now, initially reading that, it's like, okay, you just put a bunch of bracers on them and you put everything on the bear, as always. But seeing a bit of a difference here. We'll see if he pivots, though. He could always pivot, of course.
Yeah, I'm
very interesting, though.
I'm very curious to see what the idea is here and with the build, especially if the original idea fails. Like, how does this build change if you lose the mid game on this hero? I mean, generally, you don't really pick Lone Druid as a late game solution of any sort, but, you know, some games just go that way, and you have to deal with it. Ramses will Crimson Guard the tower, and they will glyph it as well, buying some nice time here, and the siege creep will actually be taken out. And now, Thompson with the Manta will be harder to push into. Just maybe, Tundra have managed to buy themselves enough space. I still think it's difficult, but with a Manta on Alk, I'm starting to believe more and more in their ability to just stall out as long as possible while Pure farms up a Storm. He's level 16 on the Luna, by the way.
Really?
Higher level than anyone on Gaimin Gladiators.
Wow.
The highest level on their side is the Storm with 15.5. So Pure, despite dying 3 times in lane,
he's 1 and 3.
He's still the highest level hero.
And what a beast. And now the Tormentor will get ganked pretty hardcore. Look away, children. Who gets the shard?
White
oh, God.
Quinn's a bit late to the party, but
he wants to fight, apparently. Uses the Electric Vortex, gets speared into a tree. Again, still has Aegis for less than a minute, so Tundra not going to expend much more resources on him. But they're just going from tower to tower with this Aegis advantage. Another tier 2 will fall. In fact, all of them are now gone.
All right. Now what? Now what are you going to do to
now
maintain
you move
this?
the items to the bear, right?
That makes no sense at all.
That's so cool. I love
Yeah.
seeing this new
I
stuff.
think it's you can be very creative with this. I feel like this is the kind of thing where the builds haven't necessarily been discovered yet. There might be one or two paths that would actually be crazy that players just haven't figured out. Quinn will be confident taking away this rune. He still has Aegis for another 15 seconds, and Tundra uninterested in forcing that.
So he's going Echo Saber into Harpoon on Dyrachyo, by the way.
Yep.
So
Usually the bear items sometimes.
yes, so that's like when he's in melee form. Obviously, the Echo Saber will work. Otherwise, no. That's really strange. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe it's really good for... How long does his ulti last? So 40 seconds, you're really strong. And then after that, you have to swap your items over. I don't know.
It's like a little mini game in the middle of the fight. I mean, we've
Just
seen it
imagine,
before.
I think Koikwa might actually be out in the audience right now. He's just cringing so hard. Dude, you don't understand this hero. It's just like... He has probably played this hero 5 times... No, let's say 100 times more than Dyrachyo. Maybe. You know?
Yeah,
He has committed his life to being a bear.
I could see that. Yeah.
So if anyone would know what to do here, it would be him. But unfortunately, we don't have him. I can't phone a friend right now. That is against arena policy when broadcasting.
Oh, Ramses
fine
gets
play.
a nice spear onto Quinn. There's
okay.
the hand of Gaimin to keep him healthy. Thompson now on the run. Doesn't have his ult for another 20 seconds, so of course he's in these webs, so it's not nearly as effective. As Quinn will use most of his mana, in fact, just to zip away to the other side. So neither side really looking for a full fight yet. And Pure showing himself level 17, has the Manta, Dragon Lance, and what's next? Looks like he'll actually finish the Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, I think he wants a way to reliably disengage from the bear.
Gleipnir initiation.
Speaking of...
Into the arrow, Sox is dead.
Yeah.
Good start here for Gaimin.
That was their smoke pop, though. They still have Quinn smoke, but the rest are now visible. So I think Soxa might have just taken that one for the team. And once again, let's keep in mind that the name of the game here for Tundra is not winning fights. It's staying alive. You know, very rarely, a lot of the time when we cast, I'm a champion of, you know, you got to take low percentage plays to get back in the game or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time when you look at this game state, that's why Whiteman is dead. That will be what I would be preaching is, all right, the Dire have to group up, make a smoke play and try to get something done to stabilize the game and get back. But in this particular game, the solution is actually to farm. You just dodge, dodge, dodge. It's hard. It's hard to play that way, but I do think it's the best solution. And these teams are obviously world-class, so they can pull it off. I would not advise people to use split push as their primary strategy in Dota in the last couple of years, but sometimes it's the way you got to do it. And they've, in my opinion, done a pretty admirable job at equalizing this game. 7k gold lead, you have Alk. I know it's not pretty, but it's definitely not out of the question. Now, what auras do Gaimin Gladiators have left to buy? So Chen just finished Vlad's. They have Pipe Greaves. They have
Shiva.
Solar.
And AC.
Yeah, so Shiva AC is still missing. I don't know if they want either of them right now.
Oh, we have an arena. Oh, but the missed spear doesn't really matter. Though Celery is basically a creep within here. Pure and company will. Okay, the pipe
say it
a little
doesn't
longer.
matter.
Dyrachyo going in with the harpoon, doing so much damage to this Mars. Ramsey's just abandoned by his team as Thompson will concoct and attempt to run. Might be stunning himself, but the arrow is upon Soxa again. We've seen it time and time again in this game. As now Gaimin Gladiators on the footsteps here of the base from Tundra.
And I was talking about how for Gaimin's side, if they mess up a push, Tundra this is the type of game they can solve, but you got to look at the other side of the ball
that's
too.
a lot of damage onto Quinn. He better be careful. That does not have the Aegis here.
We're still defending us only 3 for now, so this is a pretty good sign for Tundra. If these 3 can hold the tower on their own with just the threat of a potential buyback, that is very good news for them. Pure.
Yeah, gets initiated on Ornate. HP's in a lot of trouble. Tries to force that away, but he is dead for a full minute. And now you have to worry about the zoo from Gaimin Gladiators.
They just did the hard part of this defense, and then they walked outside.
Wait, he just got buyback. He just got buyback on Pure.
He does not want to have to spend this here.
No,
it
absolutely
is really,
not. But
really expensive.
I mean, they're going to lose a lot here. Crimson will delay just a bit. They'll have another fortification refreshed here. After the melee Rax goes down, they likely will have to give up this set though, surely. Another Harpoon initiation, Saksa dead again.
Yeah, you don't really expect to be harpooned by the ranged lone druid, do you? It's not really... There's no, how to say, frame of reference for that one. Genuinely think it's possible Saksa didn't even consider that play there. But yeah, Harpoon also works on ranged heroes. You can pull yourself in. Just don't have the Echo Saber double hit.
Oh, Thompson. Oh my god. Nothing's going to happen here, but that was funny. Let's be real.
Pinging a ward that isn't quite where he thinks it is, so they might not even find this one with a D ward. As a matter of fact, 3 really good aggressive wards right now from the side of Gaimin. One at the top, one in the center, and one in between is going to be very difficult for Tundra to clean up the whole mess. In the meantime, to accept that we're going to have to be testing with a Roshan's Banner in a second Aegis here, because this fight, I think it is impossible for them to make it here even remotely in time. With everything Gaimin has, this is a very quick claim. And Tundra might just turn tail and run here. I think without information, this play is just so low percentage. They might be better off.
Pure's actually sticking around.
Okay.
Yeah. They can see that somebody's taking some lotuses, and they must be punished for their transgressions. Eclipse used on the Tofu. That's a BKB! How? Quinn pops his BKB. Everybody's golden on Gaimin Gladiators side as Pure's taking breath of the damage. Actually, inside the arena, getting really low. Finally, the Luna drops. Is at the cost of the Brood, though. And remember, Aegis still there for Quinn. They just picked it up. Thompson now attempting to pursue. He gets feared away. Ramses with a nice rebuke to end Tofu finally. As Saksa dies for the 100th time this game, is Duracho continuing to just right-click away with this Echo Saber. Ramses, the last remaining member of Tundra, about to fall. Full team wipe for Gaimin Gladiators.
And Quinn is beyond godlike. 10-0 and 9. I feel like we have not had many games this tournament where Storm Spirit is #1 net worth. But he makes it look so damn easy with this lineup and with how strong Gaimin Gladiators are when they couple up. Just everything has been going right, more or less. That's the thing here is that I guess if this game does end up being just a complete blowout now at this point, the thing Tundra can take with them to next game is I don't think Gaimin could have done much better. So, you know, if you make a couple of adjustments in your strategy, perhaps you can solve it, but it's not over yet. 17,000 is a lot, and they still do have the Aegis. But you saw in that fight how low the heroes actually got on the side of Gaimin. They almost made it through them. They got through the Brood, and they had multiple heroes in like 10%. It was not far off.
Yeah, we can watch the replay here.
But this opener is just ridiculous.
The fact that he has BKB.
He had a big Lotus
I can't
BKB
get over
leap.
that. God, Dota is hilarious now. It really is.
But the arena from Mars was insane there.
Thompson finding an opening onto Duracho, picked up a Scotty, so he is mega tanky. Gets feared away of his own arena as well. Pure
Good
with
arrow.
the Eclipse, trying to take it up his Duracho with his berry. He's finally going to be brought to an end. Quinn, Aegis still online. Will not try to waste it here and back away.
Little bit of a slip up there. It's just one core, but every core death is a minute of farm, and it is progression. This Luna will reach a point of critical mass that will become a problem for the Radiant lineup. I don't think they can feel completely safe just yet. Butterfly is within reach. We're looking at about 2,000 gold for Pure before he completes that one. And on the Alchemist, the AC, similar story, maybe 2.5. So those two items, that evasion, that armor, is going to negate a ton of what Lone Druid is bringing to the table. White is going to find some friends.
That is so sad. Yeah. They baited the bounties. Don't see that very often at 31 minutes in the game, but yeah, Gaimin Gladiators definitely in the driver's seat. They'll still have plenty of time in this Aegis to try to push yet another lane once Duracio's back into the fray. So he doesn't have boots, his mobility is Harpoon. All his trash items that he had on his hero previously are on the bear.
Yep.
So the bear is the recycling bin, in other words.
Yep.
Very cool build, I have to say.
The second-hand bear here. Yeah. Just passing it down to the next generation. It's very beautiful. Although it is a little bit savage that he just has his bear out in front of him. It's maybe a little bit uncalled for. Anyway, high ground attempt potentially.
So in ranged form, he has almost 5,000 health, by the way. In ranged form.
Yeah, this is
That
ridiculous.
is absurd.
That is actually...
God, that is insane. Oh, they might be catching Ramses here. Quinn gets Lucent Beam. Electric Vortex is there. He's taking a lot of damage from Sox on the other side, though. Ramses finally uses his arena and dies shortly after. And Quinn continue on with that BKB. Thompson, concoction onto 2 BKB targets because everybody has that item on Gaimin Gladiators side. 2 dead for Tundra. And just like that, we're in a 5 versus 3, not including Aegis.
Tundra will just
And their
not ready.
buildings will melt.
Uh-oh, another kill.
Yeah, opening up onto Soxa again.
No buybacks.
Having
on
a
anyone.
really rough game. Still 2 cores of life for Tundra, but surely they cannot defend this.
This is minimum megas if that's what they want. They could even just full-on push for tier 4s.
Yeah, they
and
will try. That massive siege damage from Duracio's Bear with the branches still in his inventory. And they're going to try to go on top of the Luna. Pure dead again.
Does AC
have all right. And Thompson, last remaining member for the time being, inside of his fountain. Just trying to kite them. Duracio's Bear tickling him. And
so
GG
over.
is called. Gaimin absolutely manhandled